Alpine Liquid Fertilizers is your full-season crop fertility specialist from start to finish. Visit alpinepfl.com for more.
Amber Bell here with Real Agriculture. I'm at Crossroads Crop Convention in Edmonton right now and speaking with Will Holowaychuk of Alberta Canola, and you're the policy analyst with Alberta Canola. So we're going to be talking about biofuels and 45Z. And so first, can you just update us on what's going on with 45Z and what the importance is?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a piece of the Inflation Reduction Act of the U.S. government that made some rather substantial changes for eligibility for canola and canola oil in particular to be used as a feedstock. And at large, it kind of left canola oil on the outside looking in. So there's a lot of animosity leading into it, and then on January 10th and through January 16th, we received further clarity from the U.S. government as to what the actual stipulations would be, what the support systems and what type of feedstock commodities for biofuels productions would be in and supported through the 45Z legislation, or 45Z, I should say. I should clarify that.
We're Canadian.
On that side of it, and what commodities were unfortunately no longer eligible for subsidy credits. The other big piece of it was transitioning away from having a blender's tax credit in the U.S. to a producer's tax credit, which leaves our biofuels producers and refiners here in Canada outside of looking in on that, those economic opportunities as well.
So what do you feel the implications are on our canola growers in Canada?
As of right now, it leads into a little more animosity, like we're seeing with the potential impacts of trade tariffs on multiple major export nations, whether it be for seed, oil, meal. Biofuels in renewable diesel, sustainable aviation fuel, biodiesel production is a great market demand and growth opportunity for our canola producers, and ensuring that they're getting a competitive price for the high quality product that they're producing.
Right. How much of Alberta canola currently is goes to the biofuel market?
That's a great point. So right now we have one facility up in operation producing biodiesel. One major, there's a couple of smaller players as well, but the major one would be like ADM and Lloydminster. So they're taking if I remember correctly, about 600,000 metric tons is their crushing capacity, and they're taking that and producing biodiesel that then they're selling to Canadian players, industrial transportation fuel users, as well as we're exporting under the blender's tax credit to the United States, for example. Right now we're seeing in terms of it with Imperial Oil's announced facility that's currently under construction here in Edmonton in the Strathcona area. They're at their Strathcona refinery that has the potential to produce 1 billion liters of renewable diesel, which is a total game changer for our producers here in Alberta and our canola producers across Western Canada. So with that facility running entirely on canola, it's going to require 2.5 million metric tons of canola seed to be crushed, processed into canola oil, and then fed as feedstock into that facility. And to kind of give it some gravity, that's between about 40-45% of all of the canola that's produced in the province.
Wow.
So when we talk about biofuels really being a game changer and being a reliable, stable demand source, once we get the production levels up, we mean it in terms of the industry and for the benefit of our growers.
And how fast have we seen that biofuel market pick up pace?
Well, I'd say it is had ebbs and flows just like most markets that are supported through positive regulatory environments. So the other big piece of that really is stifled that has pushed it forward in the last couple of years is the investment into new technologies, new fuel spaces. So renewable diesel example for biodiesel, which is a critically important difference. I equate biodiesel as like a product that can be blended with petrochemically produced diesel and run in a diesel engine sufficiently well. But when you get down to the molecular compound with renewable diesel, or hydrogen-derived renewable diesel, HDRD, if I throw any acronyms out there for people, it is molecular. You have the molecular equivalents to petrochemically refined diesel fuel. So there are jurisdictions and there are organizations that are looking at it as a direct one-to-one, that you can run 100% renewable diesel into your facilities. And when we see markets where industrial transportation companies are looking at ways that they can improve their sustainability practices, reduce their greenhouse gas emissions with what they're doing, it enables a great opportunity for them without having to transition, entire fleets of transport trucks, right? Or rail locomotives. Or the other big piece in biofuels that we're talking about, really on the cutting edge, is with sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF, where I don't think I'm going to end my air transport anytime soon, but those are large fleets that are running on aviation fuel, and having the ability to find lower GHG emitting feedstocks for planes that can run in the same operation is yet another kind of game changer. The next step where the industry is headed at an international scale, and it's a lot of the conversations we have are, 10 years from now, it's going to be a very different place. And where is that investment? Who's going to be the innovator in driving what kind of jurisdictions and what parts of the world?
That's incredible work and very interesting. And what do you think is sort of the future of 45Z or Z? Where do you see this going, especially with the new Trump administration?
Well, that's exactly it. We are unfortunately in a time where we are dealing with possibilities and probabilities of those possibilities, right? There's, rhetoric and concerns that the pieces of the Inflation Reduction Act might be no longer valid sooner rather than later. There might be amendments to what's been put forward. Right now, as we're seeing again, the regulations surrounding it and the actual dollars and cents of what that producer's tax credit has just been established in the last week or two, under January 16th, I believe, once the full scope of what was previously announced in the Inflation Reduction Act is out there. So we're now just dealing with the ramifications of a market that is pricing in a different subsidy than what we used to be there.
I want to thank you so much for taking your time out to talk to me, and that was Will Holowaychuk on Real Agriculture.